Benchmarking involves management identifying the best firm in their industry or any other industry where similar processes exist and comparing the results and processes of those studied. In TQM framework, benchmarking is not just copying someone else, it's a continuous structured process. It is the act of measuring our own engineering and manufacturing practices against the industry leaders. If TQM is about closing the gap between our current state and perfection, benchmark shows us exactly how wide is the gap. Do two things. Measured against the toughest competitor. We don't compare ourselves to average performance. In TQM, we look for the best in the class to understand what superior results look like. Focus on quality, time, and cost. These are the TQM value. Our goal is always to engineer processes that are better, faster, and cheaper. Improving these three dimensions directly correlates to higher customer satisfaction. 4 ways to benchmark. Benchmark is not just looking for our direct rivals. There are 4 specific types we can use. Competitive, the direct comparison against our main rivals in the market. Functional, in which comparing a specific function, like our supply chain logistics or quality assurance testing, against different organizations known for excellence in that area. Generic, it is often the most innovative. It involves looking at similar processes across completely unrelated industry. For example, a manufacturing plant might study the fast-paced turnaround of a F1 pit crew to improve their own machine changeover times. An industry in which looking at the broader processes within our specific sector, even if the companies are not direct competitors. There are 4 phases methodology in benchmarking. The first one is aligned with the PDCA. First phase is plan and collect. First, we establish our project scope and gather reliable data based on specific criteria. We must measure our own baseline before we look outward. For the phase 3, analyze and validate. Next, we compare our data against the benchmark. We identify the performance gaps and seek to understand the leading practices and tools that enable the bench company to outperform us. And last phase is the adapt and change, in which data is useless without action. In this final phase, we report our findings and develop a concrete action plan to bridge those performance gaps, ultimately standardizing a new, higher quality process in our own facility.
Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're turning business history into a methodology you can literally use right now.
So, let's jump in. What exactly connects a 19th century shoe cobbler to a massive 1970s tech giant?
Well, the term benchmarking comes from cobblers. They literally placed feet on a bench to map out shoe patterns.
Fast forward to 1979. Facing huge Japanese competition, Xerox brilliantly adapted this idea to measure up against their rivals.
Today, it's how you systematically compare your processes to the best, forcing your business to get faster and cheaper.
Former Xerox CEO David Kearns said it perfectly. This isn't a one-off. It's a relentless battle against tough competitors.
But honestly, it's really about having the profound humility to admit someone else might just be doing it better.
So how do you execute? You rely on a super rigorous 4-step methodology to turn that humility into action.
First up, you plan your exact scope, and then you dive into some meticulous, highly targeted data collection.
Next, you analyze all that data to spot the gaps. Finally, you adapt by building concrete action plans.
Depending on your ultimate goals, there are actually 4 distinct types of benchmarking you can use.
First is competitive benchmarking. This is measuring your performance head-to-head against your biggest, most direct market rivals.
Then there's functional benchmarking. That's comparing one specific function inside your company to that exact same function somewhere else.
Generic benchmarking goes further, looking at similar processes across totally different organizations, completely ignoring standard industry boundaries.
Lastly, industry benchmarking looks at your broader sector. You're comparing processes against general peers, not just strict competitors. Whichever type you pick, exposing these performance gaps is crucial. It creates a very real urgency to change.
By constantly looking outward, you naturally boost team creativity while adopting the absolute best policies out there.
This structured focus literally rescues companies from stagnation, building a highly dynamic culture of constant improvement and employee pride.
So here's the ultimate question. Is your team truly humble enough to look outward, learn, and surpass the best?